The latest release of Live2D Cubism has a ton of new features that can make your rigging and animation workflow faster, smoother, and more intuitive, such as a long-awaited IK bone system, simplified loop editing, and even more. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the newest features in Live2D Cubism 5.2 and show you how to use them. Let's get started! Let's start with one of the most exciting add-ons, the parameter controller, which is Live2D's brand new inverse kinematic system. This is a feature that I personally have been waiting for a long time, and once you try it, it'll make you wonder how you ever live without it. With the parameter controller, instead of adjusting each parameter individually, you can use a single controller to adjust multiple parameters at once. So here's an example. I'm going to create a very basic arm movement, so it's just going to be a hand waving movement. With manual adjustments, as you can see on the left, I have to tweak several parameters individually, but when I'm using the parameter controller, I can just make the same result in seconds, all while keeping smooth, coordinated movement. As you can see with the parameter controller on the right, whenever you move the hand, the entire arm follows, which saves you from tedious manual adjustments. Additionally, if I have to, I can also adjust the weight of the controller across the timeline. This allows me to control how much influence the controller has on specific parameters and specific movements, which allows me to create more complex movements in my animations. One of the key functions here is target following. This function keeps specific parts of your model aligned with a specific point, like you're tracking a moving object. It's especially useful for animations that involved object interactions, like you're pointing or looking at a target. Now that we're more familiar with parameter controller, let's try and make something simple with this new feature. As always, you can download the animation files and the source files for this next part in the link in the description below so you can follow along. So I've created a new animation file here, and in order to create a parameter controller, we're just going to click this, and then we're just going to attach it to whatever we want to control. So I want to control the head and the body, so I'm just going to attach it around here. And here you should be able to see the parameters that this head piece is connected to. You can change whatever art mesh the controller is attached to. Just know that whatever art mesh it's attached to, it's going to read whatever parameters it has. So I'm going to select angle Z and body Z as the parameters that I want to be controlled by this controller. And as you can see now, I can just move it like this. Creating movements is the same as animating manually. Hover the cursor to whatever time you want and just move it. I'll just insert a keyframe here to show that I want it to be at this position at this time, so at 0, 0. And then at around 1 second, I can move the parameter controller and it automatically sets the Live2D parameters for angle Z and body Z, as you can see here. And now I'm going to show you target following. I'm going to create one controller parameter for the arm, and it'll just move the arm and forearm parameters, as you can see like this. I'll have another parameter controller here that'll move the bunny's eyes and the angle. And I'm going to change the target to let me rename that one to arm, just so that I can see it easier in the selection. And in this target area here, we're going to select arm. And as you can see, it moves automatically. I don't know how, but it calculates automatically the positioning, so it looks like this. I think it's very cute. And you can have a bunch of controllers that control all sorts of things, right? So you can have this movement, you can have this one just to control the ears, right? You can do all sorts of things. So honestly, just have a play around with it and see what you can do. The next thing I'm going to introduce to you is Cubism 5.2's Loop Editing Assistance feature. Here I've got an animation that I did a while back with the traditional approach to loop animation. As you can see, we have to manually adjust each frame to make sure that everything aligns perfectly. If something went wrong, then we'd have to go back and do it all over again, and it can be a little bit time consuming. And now with the same animation, let's try to create the looping animation, but this time with the new Loop Editing Assistance feature. The first thing we have to do is click this button to enable it, and it's going to show you that the first and last frame are looping in the animation. The feature is a lot easier to see in graph edit mode, but basically at the end of the animation and at the start of the animation, you can sort of see how these two frames connect together, and it'll show you how it transitions between them. I'll show you how this looks like with the hair, because the looping here is a little bit off, like it snaps. So if you can see here with the hair, the part where the first and last frame meet has a very sharp transition and doesn't support the loop. So I'm just going to remove the keyframe and adjust it a little bit, and you should be able to see that it'll loop a lot smoother. So instead of manually adjusting the first and last keyframe on your own and hoping that it looks nice, the new feature automatically lines up both of these keyframes in the timeline so that you can see the transitions between them and adjust as necessary, as I'm doing it here. And I'm just going to adjust the transitions of the hair for every single piece. And now that all of that's done, as you can see, the loop is a lot smoother, there are no weird jumps, and the hair is moving nicely. So it's definitely a lot easier to create looping animations with this new feature. Next up, let's take a look at inverted shape pasting. This feature is going to be very useful for anyone working with feature remodels, which is most of you, if not all of you. It'll make it easier to create perfectly mirrored adjustments with your art mesh or with your deformers. For example, if you've adjusted a deformer on one side of the model, for example the left arm, and now you have to apply that to the other arm, before this would mean that you have to manually adjust it by eye or by copying the deformer. And it can get tedious, especially when you're working with a lot of deformers. But with inverted shape pasting, you can easily copy those adjustments to the opposite side, and it'll automatically invert the form to match the model's symmetry. This will be especially useful if you're working on a model that has different colored hair, like one side is white and the other side is pink, because you can't necessarily copy the art mesh in that situation. So in this case, you can just use inverted shape pasting and just copy and paste. To use this feature, just go to Modeling, Edit Form, Options for Paste Form Special, and enable it by clicking this checkbox here. And now whenever you copy the form, which is for me Ctrl-Shift-C, every time you paste it, which is for me Ctrl-Shift-V, it's going to paste the inverted form of that shape. Next is the Deformer Shape Restoration feature. It's pretty self-explanatory. It resets the shape of the deformer after you've, messed it up and adjusted it a little bit. If you've ever forgotten to lock the default form and accidentally crumpled the deformer beyond recognition, this feature is for you. To start, let's set up a model with some deformers. I'm going to be using the previous model just as an example. To use this feature, we're going to create original shapes for the deformers. This is simple enough to do at the start of a project and essentially defines how deformers should look so that Cubism knows what to reset them to. To set this up, just select all of your deformers, Ctrl-A, go to Modeling, Edit Form, and Update Original Shape of Deformers. And now we're going to take a deformer and distort it a little. Normally, returning it to its original form, if you accidentally saved over it, that would require a lot of manual adjustments. And something that I honestly wouldn't recommend if this happens to you, just open a backup file. But since we created our original shape earlier, all that we need to do now is to click modeling, edit form, and revert to original. And the deformer will reset instantly. So that's it for today's look at Cubism 5.2 and its new features. With the new parameter controller, loop editing assistance, and the other new features, creating animations and VTuber models will be faster, smoother, and more intuitive than ever. If you want to try these features yourself, feel free to download Live2D Cubism down below. Check the links for source files and resources, and let me know in the comments which feature you're most excited to use, or if there's something you'd like to see covered in a future video. Thank you for watching! この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りしました。